Good morning. It is Thursday, March 6th. Sorry I wasn't here yesterday. I had a really bad round of insomnia 2 nights ago. Yesterday was a rough day. But today is also a little bit of a challenging day as well. So we have a first quarter moon today. It is at 16 degrees of Gemini. This is the adjustment point of something that began in June 6th of last year. So maybe in June of last year, you decided that you wanted to work on communicating more clearly. You wanted to work on maybe even being a little more lighthearted, like letting up a little bit and being a little less serious about something. But right now, what you're going to be seeing is something challenging that and showing you what you need to adjust in regards to that, okay? So the sun is in Pisces. This is your conscious self. It's the ego. It's the drive, the thing that's lighting you up, right? It's where that light is shining and highlighting things. It is in Pisces, so things are foggy. Intuition is very high. And when we have this Pisces energy, you really got to lean on that intuition to really make some decisions. And that's kind of in conflict with this subconscious information overload or the subconscious desire to not take things so serious. And those are kind of in conflict with each other. You could see something happen around you that really challenges that and shows you where you need to adjust. Finding that in between space of listening to your intuition while communicating more clearly. Not having to lean on information nearly as much. This is actually that nodal axis that we're in right now as well. Letting go of the idea that you have to have every single little tiny detail before trusting your intuition and going with it. I think we all kind of do this, right? We gaslight ourselves into thinking that we're just being crazy or paranoid or insecure because we don't have all the proof of something, right? Sometimes you don't need all the proof. Sometimes, you just got to go with what your gut is telling you. That's the best move, and that's where we're being challenged today. Now, Moon is also going to square off with Saturn this evening. There's another challenge there where something is likely to stop you in your tracks. It's going to lead to you having to have good boundaries when it comes to your intuition, good emotional boundaries this afternoon or this evening as well. So just kind of keep that in mind. There's definitely a challenge between intuition and information right now. We have Mars building into a trine with the sun. It's exact tomorrow evening, but you're going to feel that today. You're going to feel that building of like wanting to just like listen to that intuition and take action on that intuition. This could end up being some type of like emotional outburst building up here. So keep that in mind. It's like this frustration is just continuing to build and build and build. So as you go through the day, pay attention to that building up as well, because that might kind of pop off tomorrow or even today. We're also using that in a good way, is listening to your intuition and taking action from that more positive side of Cancer, right? Being able to take that action from a space of empathy and kindness and compassion and like a nurturing way, and speaking clearly about things, being very clear about your boundaries, being very clear about what it is that you have to say and what's on your mind. Mercury is in Aries, right? So Mercury in Aries is really like wanting you to be courageous, not necessarily mean, okay? So you got to say what you got to say. There's a lot of things in your mind that you really need to speak up for, but we need to like slow down and make sure that we're like tempering ourselves in having those conversations these next couple of days. Otherwise things could really like blow up in your face. So let's pull some cards here. The energy for today for the collective. Ten of Swords. So there's those painful endings. And Saturn making a square, Saturn in general ends things. It is the original planet of death in traditional astrology. And it is actually much more death than Pluto is, because it literally stops things in its tracks. So there could be, you're feeling this energy of something is coming to an end. It's probably something that you don't really want to come to an end. It's probably going to hurt, very kind of a stabbed in the back type of feeling, right? So really pay attention to that feeling. It's in you. You're feeling it. I don't know what's going on. Yesterday afternoon, I got incredibly tense for no reason. My personal life is just fine. I have nothing in my personal life to be tense about, but like my whole body tensed up. I started clenching my jaw, like it was hurting. And today I'm very shaky. I don't know if this is a collective thing or if it's a personal thing, but kind of pay attention to that tenseness that is building. We know that there are things coming to an end. It is going to be difficult. This is true in the collective and in personal lives as well, okay? Let's see what to focus on today. What does the collective need to focus on today? Maybe nothing. They don't want to tell us this morning. The collective need to focus on today. There we go. Death. Focus on those endings. Where's the transformation in those endings? Remember, the death card isn't like ending. It is ending something to be able to rebuild. It is a transformation, right? So we know these endings are coming. What can you do with that ending? Where can you rebuild from that? Where is the healing energy within this ending? What do you need to change because of this pain that you're experiencing in whatever the situation is? I am seeing a ton of breakups happening, just scrolling because I don't really talk to anybody anymore, but there's a lot of breakups happening, and a lot of these breakups are happening because of that intuition is kicking, and then they're asking the person, and the person's turning it around on them, and like it's a lot of gaslighting type of energy right now. And that being gaslit feels like straight betrayal, because it's lying is what it is. It's not only lying, but it's also victim blaming, right? So that is a very betrayal type of energy, and I'm seeing that kind of playing out right now in the collective. A lot of people are realizing how much they're being betrayed, and these breakups are starting to like unfold, okay? But there's a healing in that. That is that opportunity, trust me. It is that opportunity to heal. When everything goes to shit and everything falls apart, that's where you hit that rock bottom or whatever. That's where you realize that you have to make change. And that's where we need to pay attention. What do you need to change to do differently next time, okay? What to avoid? What does the collective need to avoid today? And we're not doing a whole handful here. What does the collective need to avoid today? What is going on? The wind is picking up again. The Hermit. Now that's actually kind of odd. Actually, no, it's not. See how the Death card is he's kind of sort of like moving towards the Hermit. Hermit's lifting the lantern up towards the Death here. Don't get so far in your head that you start blaming yourself for everything, okay? One of the biggest things in therapy itself sometimes, especially in the spiritual world, if you're doing like spiritual type of healing, there is such a victim blaming energy within it. You create your own reality. You chose this. You made this decision. Don't do that. Don't blame yourself. This is actually the Virgo card, right? Don't blame yourself for other people's behavior. Don't blame yourself for trusting other people. If somebody's betraying you, that is not your fault, okay? Sometimes we can get into that space when everything falls apart where we blame ourselves for all of it. And yeah, there's some self-awareness and some self-accountability you need to take in there, but you're not at fault for somebody else lying to you or cheating on you or sneaking around behind your back or your friends talking about you behind your back. You are not responsible for that. So make sure that you're not getting stuck in your head if you start seeing these things happening. Don't be blaming yourself for these things. Bottom of the deck is the Star, so there's just this healing that's underneath. That's really kind of driving all of this. There's a need to heal here, and healing is never pretty, okay? Let's pull clarifiers for 10 of Swords. Clarifiers for the 10 of Swords. No. No. Five of Pentacles and Page of Swords. Ooh, that is some gossipy energy. That is, this is like folks talking behind your back. So Five of Pentacles has this very left out in the cold. Like I said, this square between the moon and Saturn that we see later this evening, that has the energy of being left out in the cold, okay? This is, the Page of Swords is very Gemini. So this has a lot of people talking shit behind your back. People laughing at you, making fun of you, whatever, and making you feel left out, making you feel very betrayed type of energy. And this is just, I said, this is the energy of the day. So this is the way it feels, okay? That doesn't necessarily mean it's what's happening, but it's definitely the way it feels. You feel like, from an observational point, you're being left out of everything, okay? And you feel like you're being kind of betrayed in that, okay? Clarifiers for death. Clarifiers for the death card. Ace of Swords and Strength. Ah, okay. I like that. Ace of Swords is that clarity. It's that truth. It's whatever it is that you've been trying to avoid, that maybe you knew was coming up, or maybe something blindsides you today, which is very possible. And focusing on that truth and the strength that you need to be able to deal with that truth. Not allowing it to collapse you, right? And using it to transform. What can you do with this? And now, look, feel your feelings. Be angry. Be hurt. Feel betrayed. Feel your feelings. Don't like push it down and be like, oh, well, this is what it is. Gotta let it go, right? Feel your feelings, but focus on how strong you are in this, okay? Allow yourself to say, you know what, this really hurts. This feels like an ending. It feels like a destruction, but I know that this is going to lead to a stronger place for me, right? This is, you know, don't ignore the pain simply for the sake of being strong, right? Or the sake of transformation, because that's how we end up collapsing again later. But understand that there will be a rising from the ashes phoenix moment from this later on once you work through it, okay? Clarifiers for the Hermit. Why are we avoiding the Hermit? Maybe not. All right, Seven of Wands and Seven of Pentacles, because you're working on stuff. You're okay. Sometimes when we get into our heads, we forget to defend ourselves. We will let other people bash us if we're already bashing ourselves, right? Like if we're already blaming ourselves for everything, and then other people want to come along and blame you for stuff that isn't yours to take the blame for, we let it happen, right? So we don't want to do that. We want to make sure that we are willing to stand up and defend ourselves, have those boundaries. We're willing to fight for the things that we're growing for ourselves. We're just being shown what doesn't need to stay there, what is keeping us from growing, what's keeping us from moving forward, right? So really, as you go through the day, if it hurts, it's okay that it hurts. If it feels like betrayal and you're angry about it, that is okay, absolutely. But don't let it tear you down to the point of like isolating or taking on blame that isn't yours. And understand that once you work through it, it's a transformational point. Also, the number of major arcana cards here, this has this kind of faded energy to it, where this is what has to happen for you to be able to continue forward on your path. Bottom of the deck is Knight of Wands. So this is kind of an immature energy. Like, so this is like the underlying energy is folks are just like out here for number one. They're out here to get what they want. They're out here no matter what it costs to anybody else. The world's getting wild. The chaos is setting in. And when that happens, a lot of people become incredibly selfish and they will throw everybody else under the bus. pay attention to who's doing that, because those people are not for you in your future.